go ahead and turn it over to our treasurer, Zach Conine, who will talk about the instrumental role the state played in making sure that we received $30 million for these relief efforts.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Good morning, everyone. I am your Nevada State Treasurer, Zach Conine. It's so nice to see so many friendly faces on the line. Hello, Congresswoman. Hello, Commissioner. I wish we were all together in person, but I know we will be there soon. In the Treasurer's Office, our focus since the beginning of the pandemic has been on ensuring that the economic recovery of the state was as quick and effective as possible. To that end, the governor signed Executive Directive number 8 at the end of March, and that put an eviction and foreclosure moratorium in place. Now, that was a great first step, but now we need to do the work to make sure that Nevadans can remain in their homes. This rental assistance program is a very big part of that. The CARES Housing Assistance Program, or CHAP, is being run statewide, and we know that many families have been hit hard by the economic impacts of COVID-19. And our goal was to stand up a program that is easy to understand, easy to apply for, and will ensure that landlords get paid back as quickly as possible. On Monday, this program launched statewide, designed to help tenants with back rent that is owed during the period covered by that eviction moratorium. Now, in order to ensure that tenants could receive assistance quickly and effectively, we worked with Clark County Social Services, the Reno Housing Authority, and the Rural Housing Authority to stand up a program quickly and effectively. Now, we've seen an incredible response since Monday, and I want to thank Commissioner Naft and Tim Birch, who I see in that tiny little window there, for all their hard work to get the program up and running. You know, during these times, your county officials, your state officials, your federal officials, your city officials are all working together. And in this case, the county had came up with it first, and we were happy to be able to pile on with some additional funds. So the state of Nevada is providing $30 million in short-term rental assistance to Nevadans experiencing financial hardship due to COVID-19. That money comes out of the CARES funds, specifically Coronavirus Relief Fund dollars that were hard fought for and won by Congresswoman Titus and the rest of the federal delegation. Now, those state dollars, that $30 million will be $20 million to Clark County, $10 million to rural counties and Washoe, and that will go on top of an additional $30 million that has already been allocated by Clark County. So a total of about $50 million in Clark County. Funds will be paid directly to landlords on the tenant's behalf. Relief funds are offered as grants. They're not loans. They do not need to be paid back. And in Clark County, funds are being distributed through a network of 14 community nonprofits that I believe Clark County will talk about in just a second. So the fastest way to apply for funds in Clark County is for tenants to call one of these nonprofits directly. They'll be then notified of any required documentation necessary, and they'll take you through the process. We've got plenty of information on eligibility and the rest. All of that can be found either on Clark County's website, or if you're not sure where exactly to go, you can go to the housing.nv.gov page. That's the state's central landing page, and that can direct you to wherever you need to go based on eligibility and the rest. Again, thank you so much for having us here this morning. Really excited about this process, and I know it's one of a series of efforts that the state, city, county, and our federal delegation are working to put together to keep Nevadans in their homes and make sure we get out of this crisis as well as possible.
Thank you, Treasurer Conine, for your remarks and for your hard work in making sure that Nevada stays on track during these very difficult times. Now with us, we will have two gentlemen who have a great responsibility and a great role in administering these monies and making sure that they're getting into the hands of our community members. We have with us County Commissioner Mike Naft and Clark County Administrator Tim Birch to speak more about these dollars and programs that are being serviced by Clark County. Good morning, gentlemen.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Good morning, and thank you for ensuring that we are doing a good job outreaching to every community that needs the services that we're providing. I also want to point out, while we have the important and challenging job of distributing these funds and putting a program together that safely, securely, and equitably distributes these funds, we would not be in this position if it weren't for Congresswoman Titus, her leadership, leading the delegation to fight for the dollars that we have to spend today. These are terrible times, but that safety net that we now have in place and those dollars that we're able to immediately put to work our thanks to the Congresswoman and her experience and hard work in Washington fighting to bring those dollars back to the small state of Nevada. I'm joined, as you mentioned, with Tim Birch, who's been working for the last 6 weeks to develop a program that would do just that, that would be there in place for the anticipated 120 to 150,000 Nevadans, many of whom are in Clark County, who are going to need this assistance in the coming weeks, no doubt about it. And what I want to make sure we're doing too is reminding people that this is not a time to be bashful. This is a time to stand up and accept assistance if you think that you and your family need it. We're anticipating having people utilize programs that have never utilized safety nets like this before. But that's what these dollars are here for, and I know that's what we want to do, to make sure that they're available and to make sure that we're approachable along with our 14 partners that to work with us on the nonprofit side. So I thank you for helping us spread the word. And again, I just reiterate to everybody in Clark County and throughout the state of Nevada, if you are in need of assistance, whether it's through these programs that we're talking about today, utilities, mortgage assistance, or rental assistance, or if you're a small business owner, the county has provided millions of dollars to assist our small businesses of under 20 employees who are in need today, right now. If we can bridge that gap during these difficult months that we have ahead, it will be so much cheaper and cost effective, aside from it being the right thing to do to bridge that gap and help people get through the other side. So thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you, Treasurer, for partnering with us on this. And Tim, you want to add basically how people can take advantage of these programs that we have to offer?
Absolutely. So at the Department of Social Service, we're grateful for the leadership at the federal, state, local level, and inside our department, inside the community, that we're able to work with 14 community partners who have a history of getting money into hands of people who need it most. But this is an unprecedented amount to address an unprecedented economic crisis in our community. So again, we built the program for folks who don't traditionally come to the Department of Social Service and ask for help. We're trying to make it as easier for folks to get that help as possible. So it's as easy as going to helphopehome.org. And if you don't have access to broadband or internet access in any way, you can simply call Nevada's 211 system from any cell phone or landline. It's about 211, and ask for the help that you need and get the list of the 14 nonprofits. One of them, HopeLink, is on with us today to get the assistance you need. We scaled this program to be able to work for families who are traditionally two-family working incomes with behind their rent, maybe for the first time in their lives, and they don't know how to ask for help. So once again, just go to helphopehome.org, apply directly with any one of the 14 nonprofit partners that we're working to get this money out to individuals through. And again, we just look forward to continue working with the state, federal, and local leadership as this crisis continues.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Naft. All the best to you and your lovely daughter. And thank you, Mr. Birch, for all the hard work that your department is doing during these unprecedented times. Really appreciate it. Now with us to kind of walk us through what it looks like from the nonprofit side and how folks will have.
I lost him, Jay. It froze, but maybe it'll come back.
I know, I can hear you. Let's see what's going to happen.
I think it's just the Councilwoman we lost.
Oh.
Agreed.
Okay. Well, I think she was going to turn it over to me. So you can all still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. That'll work then. It is a pleasure to be here, and I want to echo the other sentiments. I really want to thank everybody for all the hard work they've done and for listening to our nonprofits when we asked that, the money come as fast as possible, that it be as flexible as possible, and that it not just be for 1 or 2 months, but into the end of the year at the minimum. We at HopeLink really wanted to position ourselves so we weren't just here in July or August, but we would be here in November and December to help people as well. As we all know, there are people that have gone back to work, but there's many people who haven't yet and may not have jobs to go back to. So this is really, in our eyes, going to go on for quite a while and past the end of the year. We really expect we will be, helping people next year that are still being affected by this. HopeLink, our mission is, number one, to prevent homelessness and to preserve families and provide hope. If we can help somebody stay in their home when they're on the brink of homelessness from one or another crisis, that actually does help solve our homelessness problem. We don't want to see our homeless population increase. So these monies, being able to pay back rent as far back as March, bring people, up to current, keep them whole, as well as provide food from our food pantry, keep meals on tables, and provide utility assistance to keep the lights and the air conditioning on as well. We're doing everything we can to take care of the things that are the largest expenses in a household and the most vital to somebody remaining stable. Since March, we've never shut our doors. Some of our crew went remote, but we always had staff in the office. We've answered our phones every day. We've answered emails every day. And our numbers have consistently gone up, more than doubled month to month to month. Last month, we served over 1,932 clients. Over 600 of them were children between the ages of 5 and 17. And then about 400 adults between the age of 24 and 35. That really represents those households, those families out there that are really in need of assistance. We do have a lot of people coming to us who have never asked for assistance before and really had to, kind of ramp up their courage in order to come and do it. And we're just so glad that we're there to be able to help them. We've been spending on the average, before this money came through, about $50,000 to $70,000 a week, helping to keep our neighbors and our community members stable. Since launching the program this week, we converted our conference room into a COVID response center. We've hired 4 temporary case managers so far in order to kick the program off. We're fielding about 1,000 phone calls and emails every day. And in 2 days this week, we cut 263 checks for emergency shelter, rent, and utility assistance. So it has, the word is out, but we want to make sure that we continue to get it out and we spread it further. So those who haven't heard about the assistance yet do hear about it and are able to go to 211, go to our website, United Way's website, all the different resources out there to see who does have relief. Unfortunately, I know that all of the nonprofits, due to the call volume, some people do have a little trouble getting right through. We ask them to be patient and to just continue to call. For us, the best time to call is first thing in the morning. We have the capacity to do about 50 full appointments every day, and that is the screening, the processing, all the way cutting the check. As we see if the response continues, we will look at adding more caseworkers to help with that need and the volume of calls coming in. So I have Leticia Guerrero from our office is also on the call, unless we lost, oh, there you are, you're up in the corner. Leticia is one of our caseworkers. She is also the one that, when I receive a Spanish-speaking call, I often refer them to her. She's wonderful about working with our Hispanic and Latino community members. A lot of times, as we know, there is that language barrier. They may not have the technology at home. So she really walks them through the process, helps them with the application and what documents to gather that we need in order to process and approve the financial assistance. So I just want to turn it over to her for a minute or two so she can sort of walk you through the process that she goes through from the time she receives a phone call from someone. Leticia, you'll have to unmute.
Hi, good morning. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so basically the process is they would have to call the main number. Once they call the main number in the afternoon, a case manager will return the call, and we get their email, and we will email them a link, and all they have to do is create an account. Once they create the account, they will be able to complete the application and upload their documents. We try to make it as easy as possible for them to go ahead and do it. As up to this point, everyone has had an email where we can email all the information. Some people are not very tech savvy, so we'll work with them. If most of the time they have a friend, they have a relative that will be able to help. If they don't, we always have other options. They can come to the office. We can give them a paper copy where they can go ahead and fill it out, and we'll and turn in their documents. We'll make the copies for them. I mean, we try to reassure that once they call, we'll make sure that they complete the process to get the assistance. So that's the main process.
No.
And Leticia,
Thank
can you speak to it en español, por favor?
Yes, definitely. El proceso para aplicar para asistencia de renta de utilidades de hipoteca es que tienen que llamar al número principal. Una vez que ustedes llaman al número principal, les van a tomar su información básica, que es nombre, número de teléfono y en qué área de código postal viven. En la tarde, una trabajadora les va a regresar la llamada, les va a pedir su correo electrónico. Esa es la manera que estamos funcionando. Todo es por correo electrónico. Entonces, por su correo electrónico se les va a enviar un link, un website en línea, donde ustedes tienen que crear una cuenta. Una vez que ustedes crean esa cuenta, ustedes pueden llenar la aplicación y pueden subir los documentos que se necesitan. Si en la mayoría de casos siempre hay un familiar, un amigo, un vecino que les puede ayudar en caso de que ustedes no estén con el conocimiento de la tecnología. En dado caso que ustedes no tengan a alguien que les pueda ayudar, nosotros trabajamos con ustedes para poder agarrar esa aplicación, esos documentos. Entonces, ya sea que vengan a la oficina, llenen la aplicación ahí, nos entreguen sus documentos, nosotros le podemos sacar copias y ya para que se pueda terminar el proceso. Es comunicación con su trabajador y ver qué es lo que ustedes pueden hacer y en dónde necesitan ayuda. Pero nosotros tratamos de ayudarles para que se complete el proceso y tengamos la aplicación y todos los documentos correctos.
Leticia, I've had a request. Are you able to bring your camera back up? There you go. Thank you. So at this time, if we can wait to the end, and any questions that you have for myself or Leticia, we will be happy to stay and answer. Councilwoman, I will turn it back over to you. Did we lose her? Oh dear.
Well,
then we'll do this. Congresswoman Titus, we will move right over and turn it over to you. And again, thank you from the bottom of our heart for all of your hard work so we could help the community.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for having me today. You know, we all know that if the economy is hit nationally, Las Vegas takes it even worse because people have to have money in their pocket to be able to go on holiday, and so much of our economy is based on that hospitality industry. But we do also know that Las Vegas is a resilient city. We've been hit hard before, and we always come back stronger than ever. And I think that's what will happen this time. And one of the reasons is because we're all working together, and because of programs like this that y'all have done such a good job of setting up and now getting the word out. So I want to thank our treasurer for taking the lead here, but I must say we need to get back out there because that beard's getting kind of long, Zach. I don't know. Olivia, our councilwoman, for bringing us all together, even though it is virtually, and certainly our Commissioner, Mike Knapp. Your leadership during these difficult times has just been amazing, and the example have set have really made a difference in Las Vegas that we haven't seen among leadership in some communities around the country. And working with the nonprofits like HopeLink is just great, because now it's going to take all of us, everybody in government, working with the private sector and with the nonprofits to get out of this. You know, my district is the heart of the valley, and this is where so many people are tied to the hospitality industry, and so many really need the assistance that y'all provide. They are struggling because they don't have a job just to keep a roof over their heads. So these kinds of programs are really great. I was pleased to support and work for and vote for the CARES Act that set up this first amount of funding to go to these types of rental assistance programs. They've done a good job. Y'all are out there. We're going to share your information on our website any way we can. You'll just have to let us know how best to do that. And also, we get about 100 calls a day from people needing assistance. So now we have a great place to refer them if it relates to any kind of housing. But despite all your hard work, and the amount of money sounds good when you just throw a figure out there, we still need to do more. The House Democrats passed the second version of CARES, which was known as the HEROES Act, and that included additional funding for housing. In fact, it was $1 trillion would go to state and local governments to make up for lost revenue. And then you had $100 billion for rental assistance and another $75 billion for homeowner assistance. In addition to that, we looked at the eviction problem and extended the moratorium on evictions for 1 year and foreclosures for additional 6 months. Has been out there, passed by the House, and those deadlines are coming up very quickly. Unemployment's about to end, the eviction protection's about to end. People are about to hit a wall that's not necessary if we could do something to get the Senate to move. We're working on a compromise. It took them till yesterday to come out with their plan. Unfortunately, their plan does not include money for state and local governments, does not include money for any kind of homeowner assistance. It does provide an increase in the amount you can deduct for 3 martini lunches. However, that's not what most of the people in my district and in the parts of the district that we all share are really looking for. So we will begin to work now on the compromise. We will be here next week and then break for August. Hopefully something can come by the 1st of August so that people will not hit that wall. Because you know, if we take a step back, then it will take us longer, be more expensive, and be even harder to recover. So I just can't thank you enough for what y'all are all doing on the ground, on the front lines, to be sure that this funding gets to the people who really need it. So thank you for that, and thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman Titus. I apologize. I'm having technical difficulties on my end. My laptop stopped getting a signal, and I had to switch to my cell phone. So please do know that I would have loved to have introduced you as part of the press conference, but I had a technical glitch.
Listen, I understand I am low tech. I'd much rather be seeing you in person than on Zoom, but we have young people around us here who help me to get it done. So I'm just glad that you're here, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for your leadership and continuing to communities in DC, and we know we need more resources to help us here on the ground, and we're so grateful for you advocating for us in DC. Quiero comentar en español algunas cosas antes de abrirlo a preguntas. Quería enfatizar que, como dijo el tesorero del Estado, el dinero de estos programas, por ejemplo, si usted está atrasado en su renta o en su hipoteca, de su vivienda, el dinero se le va a pagar directamente al arrendatario a quien se lo debe, quien le renta o el banco a quien usted le hace los pagos. Entonces el dinero no necesariamente va a entrar a su cuenta, va a ir directamente a donde tiene que pagar, o si está atrasado con sus cobros de luz, agua o gas, va directamente a la compañía. No llegan los recursos directamente a las manos de las personas. Como dijo el comisionado Naft, no hay que tener pena en estos momentos cuando muchos de nosotros tenemos necesidad. A veces por orgullo no queremos aplicar a los programas, pero si nosotros estamos atrasados 3, 4 meses de renta y es algo que está latente y que posiblemente pudiera provocar que se les despoje de donde ustedes están viviendo, quiero que ustedes seriamente dejen la pena a un lado y apliquen y busquen la ayuda, porque estos fondos se destinaron del gobierno federal y del gobierno estatal para que llegaran a sus manos y ayudar a las personas que realmente están necesitando la ayuda en estos momentos. Así es que no es momento de tener pena, hay que aplicar. Y como bien nos dijo Leticia Guerrero, no importa si nosotros sabemos utilizar una computadora, no importa si nada más nos sabemos comunicar por teléfono, estas agencias van a agarrarnos de la mano y nos van a ayudar paso por paso, y si personas o oficina para llenar la solicitud, ellos lo van a hacer así. Así es que no hay que tener pena si nosotros no sabemos navegar la tecnología, hay personas que van a estar ahí para apoyarlos cada momento. Y lo último, pues, es que la congresista, otra cosa, tener mucha paciencia, porque sé que ahorita ellos tienen mucha demanda y están entrando muchas llamadas por día. Hay que madrugar y hay que marcar lo más tempranito que se pueda para entrar en la línea. Ellos pueden tomar hasta 50 citas por día a veces, pero hay que tener paciencia y hay que ser persistente y no hay que desesperarnos si no nos contestaron a la primera vez, porque sabemos que hay miles de personas aquí en el sur de Nevada que necesitan esta asistencia, pero no tenemos miles de personas contestando teléfonos para ayudar a cada uno de ustedes con su situación. Así es que sean pacientes y persistentes. Y lo último es que la congresista Titus está luchando todavía por nosotros. Ella consiguió este primer fondo que que fue destinado desde el gobierno federal y llegó aquí a nuestro estado y del estado aquí a nuestra ciudad. Y ella está luchando para que haya mayores recursos, porque nosotros todos sabemos que la economía se va a tardar en restablecer y que todos vamos a necesitar un poquito de apoyo en lo que todo vuelve a una nueva normalidad. Así es que muchas gracias, congresista Titus. With that, I'll turn it over to the press for any questions you may have for any of the participants.
Yes, good morning. I'm Luz Gray with the Nevada Independent en Español. I have a couple of questions. Well, thank you for this press conference, by the way. I would like to know how many applications Clark County has had so far.
Yeah, so Tim Burks, I don't have a count for you just yet. We are asking the providers to give us a count at the end of each week in regard to the number of applications, number of families actually served, and the number of families in the queue. So we'll be able to provide that data through our CIO office to you all around early next week.
Councilwoman, lo siento, I've got to go and vote, but if anybody has any questions, I can come back later. Thank you so much for including me. I'll see you later. Okay, this one is, no.
I have other question. How has the caller experience has been so far? Like, have people been reporting long hold times?
You know, in regards to HopeLink, we try not to put people on hold. We're answering the phone as quick as we can. We have a special recorded message, should they not get through right away, that you know, lets them know the volume is high and to call back. But we also reference our website and the other agencies that have funding available as well. you know, it's our hope that if they can't get on the appointment list for us, say today, that we can provide the resources of the other organizations in town so they can go ahead and try and call them as well. We want people to get relief as quick as possible, so we're referring to each other.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. All right. But I don't know if other members of the press
Go
have.
ahead, Luz. Go ahead, Luz. Ask your questions, and we'll see if anybody else has them.
Thank you. Based on early demand, will Clark County consider putting more CARES Act funding toward this program?
Well, I think right now, thanks to Treasurer Conine and the governor and the state's assistance, we're at $50 million in Clark County. So we want to, the program's just getting started. I think we all know that the need is great and the money will be used well. But I think until we get a little further into the program, we discuss whether or not more money is necessary. Though, as Congresswoman Titus mentioned, certainly the need is there. So if the federal government's able to provide additional funding for rental mortgage utility assistance, we've got what I think will be one of the best programs in the country for distributing those funds.
Thank you. Well, I'll ask the next question. What does the county say to critics who say this doesn't help people who have tried their hardest to make their rent payments during the pandemic but are struggling?
Well, I think that's partially who it's geared towards. So certainly that's who we want to help. So I guess I would tell them to call my office and we could talk about why they think they're not being served. But certainly that's our aim and the goal and the objective is to help individuals describing there.
I'm sorry, the audio is not really clear. Could you please repeat the answer? Thank you.
Right. I just said the individual that you're describing in your question is exactly who we're trying to help. Mm-hmm. So if anybody feels like they're being left out of the that's being offered, I'd encourage them to call us and discuss that. And we can always look at reevaluating programs to help more people whenever possible. But I think through this program, it's fairly comprehensive with the rent, mortgage, utilities. So I think a lot of people will be helped. As Tim mentioned, people who don't often utilize Clark County's social services, who, by the way, are pandemic or not, Clark County social services are always here and always working with these 14 nonprofits and many others throughout the year to help people. These are, thanks to these CARES Act dollars, additional funds that we're able to supplement and support even more people who need assistance now more than ever.
Y Luz, si pudiera contestar esta pregunta en español.
Gracias.
Pienso que el objetivo de estos recursos y de estos programas es de apoyar a la comunidad que más necesita esta ayuda por falta de empleo. Sabemos que en nuestras comunidades, especialmente la latina, mucha gente está saliendo COVID-19 positivo porque no han dejado de trabajar, porque han sido trabajadores que han estado luchando por traer los recursos a su hogar y mantener la economía de su hogar. Pero a veces cuando te impacta un cuadro de COVID y estás hospitalizado por mucho tiempo que te previene ir a trabajar, o inclusive que tú perdiste tu trabajo sin tener ninguna responsabilidad o te descansaron sin tú tener algún asunto ahí de que te descansaran, simple porque no hay empleos ahorita. Creo que es nuestra responsabilidad apoyar a estas personas y también queremos evitar que haya mayor índice de personas indigentes, personas que no tienen hogar, personas que van a tener que vivir en la calle. Es lo que tenemos que hacer como comunidad en momentos difíciles, y también esto es una ayuda para aquellos arrendatarios, aquellas personas que alquilan sus propiedades, que tal vez tienen pagos pendientes y también a ellos se les está haciendo pesado, ¿no? Entonces creo que es algo que beneficia a todos y que nos hace una comunidad con mucha compasión y al servicio de uno y otro.
Gracias.
Hi, my name is Alexander Zapata. I work with Univision. I have a question for Councilwoman Olivia Diaz, if you can answer in Spanish. Concejal, entiendo que hemos hablado del condado Clark como recursos, pero ¿qué pasa con las personas que están hacia el norte del estado? ¿Cuáles serían las opciones más viables para que ellos puedan aplicar?
Voy a pedirle el apoyo primero en inglés al tesorero Zach Conine, que está un poco más informado de cómo está funcionando la asistencia. Sé que como estado hay fondos que se distribuyeron tanto para el norte como para el sur. Entonces voy a pedir que él conteste en inglés primero y ya te lo puedo contestar en español. ¿Está bien, Alexander?
Perfecto, sí, está bien. En inglés está bien también.
Treasurer Conine, so the question is, how are we ensuring that our northern Nevadans also have access to funds to make up, the arrears and rent and utilities? I'm not very familiar with the structure up north, so could you speak to what's being done there, and then I can say it in Spanish.
Absolutely, Councilwoman. So up north, we're working with the regional housing authorities. So that's the Reno Housing Authority for Washoe County and the Nevada Rural Housing Authority in the rest of the rural counties. They both have access to an initial tranche of $5 million, so $10 million. And they've received a few hundred applications in the rurals and about 1,000 applications in Reno so far to date. That process is online, but the mechanics match all of the processes down here in Clark County.
So just for my education and accuracy, Treasurer Conine, how will someone in Northern Nevada then, right here, we've advocated call 211, go to Hope, Help Home, let me get this right, Help Hope Home on the web. So what would someone in Northern Nevada do to be connected to the housing authorities?
Step one is go to the Housing Department's website. That's housing.nv.gov. They can also call either the Reno Housing Authority or the Rural Housing Authority, and I can certainly share those numbers with the press separately if need be.
Okay. Do you know that there's bilingual staff on board with them? Yes?
There are, yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Básicamente en el norte de Nevada, one last question, Zach. How many funds are available to people in Northern Nevada? We talked about 50 million here in Southern Nevada. How much is available to our northern residents?
We're starting with $5 million in our rural communities and $5 million in Washoe. But of course, the need, just like it is in Clark, is going to be greater than the funds available right now. So we'll continue working to get new funds into the system. To build on something that Commissioner Naff said earlier, we're going to have a really great program here. So when additional federal funds come in, we'll have a mechanic to quickly get those funds out, which I think will put us ahead of the game.
Ok, básicamente sí hay ayuda para todos los residentes del norte de Nevada y de Nevada. En el norte de Nevada se han destinado fondos 5 millones para las áreas rurales y 5 millones para el condado de Washoe. Y las personas van a tener acceso a estos fondos por medio de las autoridades de vivienda. Entonces existe el Reno Housing Authority, que ellos son los proveedores de vivienda asequible en el área de Washoe. Y también existe el Rural Housing Authority, que son los que se encargan de conectar a la comunidad con vivienda asequible en las áreas rurales de nuestro estado. Y ustedes pueden ir a sus sitios de internet de estas autoridades de vivienda y también buscar la información de cómo aplicar. Creo que también tienen números de teléfonos ahí enlistados para los que yo me imagino en el área viven por ahí, lo pueden localizar.
Muchas gracias.
I have another question. ¿La puedo hacer en español, concejal?
Claro que sí.
Gracias.
Claro que sí.
I'll ask my question in Spanish. La otra cosa que digo, hemos escuchado desde luego y sabemos, pues muchas personas están pasando por esta crisis y por esta situación de no tener para pagar la renta. Mi pregunta es, hay muchas personas que también dicen, bueno, o sea, ¿es justo que se le esté pagando solamente a las personas que no han podido pagar su renta, que se han retrasado?
Necesito entender ¿A qué se refieren en cuanto a es justo? ¿Pudieras expandir un poquito más para entender de dónde viene la pregunta?
El programa nada más está enfocándose a personas que se han retrasado con la renta, pero hay muchos que están diciendo, o sea, eso es justo que solamente a ellos se les ayude, o hay alguna determinación de cuántos han retrasado. Creo que el centro es que sea justo para todos.
Ok, déjame preguntar primero detalles al condado de cuántos pagos tienen que tener atrasados, que creo que son 3. But I just want to make sure I don't misspeak. Tim, if you could help me, how many months in arrears do folks have to be in order to qualify for this rental/mortgage relief?
Thank you, Councilwoman. The applicants can simply be behind on their current rent. They don't have to be months and months behind. We will go back all the way till March 1st. But if someone's just now getting behind, or they will be behind on, say, their August rent coming up because they haven't gotten called back and the extended unemployment runs out, they can then get an assistance apply as soon as they're past due, and we'll start working with that landlord. As Hopelink stated so well, this is an effort to make sure people stay stably housed. And the program will run until the money runs out, or up until December 30th, which is the deadline for the use of the federal funds.
Okay. Sí, Luz, creo que nosotros estamos tratando de satisfacer las necesidades de la mayoría de personas a las que podemos apoyar con los $50 millones aquí en el sur de Nevada, y los otros 10 que están destinados para el norte de nuestro estado. Ahorita me acaba de clarificar aquí que en el sur de Nevada no tienen que estar atrasados meses y meses de renta para calificar para esta asistencia o ayuda. Simple y sencillamente, si ya se les está acabando el desempleo y va a ser muy difícil que paguen el próximo mes de renta, ellos pueden solicitar. Y también si se atrasaron desde que la pandemia se desató y tal vez perdieron su empleo, su capacidad de generar ingresos, también se les está apoyando con varios meses de renta. Entonces, creo que es un programa que trata de ayudar a las personas, a cuantas personas se puedan ayudar con los fondos que tenemos destinados, y el propósito es mantener a las personas en su vivienda, porque no nos beneficia ver que muchas personas pierdan su residencia, especialmente en estos tiempos cuando tenemos que aislarnos hasta cierto punto y mantenernos en casa para mantener a nuestras familias seguras.
Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Any other questions? Doesn't sound like it. So I from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank Hopelink for doing the yeoman's work and being in the trenches and providing this much needed assistance to our community. Muchas gracias, Hopelink, por brindarle este apoyo a nuestra comunidad y querer ayudarles y tomarlos de la mano, porque a veces es algo muy difícil pedir ayuda, y esto toma valor a veces y toma dejar la pena y el orgullo de lado, pero muchas gracias por facilitar el proceso. Thank you, Secretary. Thank you, Treasurer Conine, for all of your help in getting these funds channeled to our entire state, not just Southern Nevada, but our entire state. I know all of our community is in dire need. Commissioner Naft and Mr. Birch, thank you again for participating this morning and ensuring that our community is informed about how to access these funds, and to be patient and persistent, but that we're trying to get the much in their hands. And Congresswoman Titus, thank you so much. Also, I know you had to drop off, but we appreciate you continuing to fight for us. And did I leave anybody off my list? I think I said thank you to everyone, and thank you to the press. Thank you for carrying our message into our community to make sure that everybody's informed about this opportunity. We really appreciate you.